The baby shower cake hadn't even been cut when Eleanor Whitfield III decided to make her announcement. She stood up from her throne-like chair at the head of the garden party, crystal champagne flute in hand, and tapped it with her wedding ring. The 10-carat monstrosity she never let anyone forget cost more than most people's houses. Ladies, she announced, her voice carrying that particular brand of old money authority that made caterers freeze mid-step. I have something important to say. I instinctively placed my hand on my 7-month belly, already knowing this wouldn't end well. My husband James was inside getting more ice, missing the storm that was about to break. As you all know, Eleanor continued, smoothing her cream-colored dyer suit, the Whitfield name has graced this city's most prestigious institutions for over a century. My dear late husband, may he rest in peace, was the 8th generation of Whitfields to serve on the hospital board. My sister-in-law Patricia rolled her eyes from across the garden. She'd been through this speech before with her own kids. And since my son, Eleanor's voice dripped disapproval, has chosen to hyphenate his name with his wife's. That would be me. The woman who convinced her precious James to become James Whitfield Romano instead of just Whitfield. A sin apparently on par with murder in Eleanor's book. It is imperative that my granddaughter carry on the pure Whitfield legacy. She turned to face me directly. Therefore, I'm announcing here, in front of all our friends and family, that unless this child is named Eleanor Whitfield IV, she will inherit nothing. Not a penny. Not a stock. Not so much as a teaspoon from the family silver. The 30 women in my backyard went silent. Someone's mimosa glass slipped, shattering on the flagstone patio. Mother Whitfield, I started, using the title she insisted on. Surely we can discuss. There's nothing to discuss. She raised her voice, something Eleanor Whitfield I never did unless making a point. Name the baby Eleanor Whitfield IV, or you're both out of the will. I want everyone here to witness this. I won't have my legacy diluted by what? I asked quietly. By me. By my Italian heritage. By modern nonsense, she finished, though we both knew what she meant. This is my final word on the matter. My best friend Maria looked ready to throw her Prosecco in Eleanor's face, but I caught her eye and smiled. Because Eleanor Whitfield II had just made a crucial mistake. She threatened me in public. Of course, Mother Whitfield, I said sweetly, we'll name her Eleanor. After you, exactly after you. Several women gasped. Patricia's jaw dropped. Eleanor herself looked stunned, as if she'd expected more of a fight. Well, she said, recovering her composure, I see you finally developed some sense, Sophia. Perhaps there's hope for you yet. James emerged from the house just as his mother was settling back into her chair, looking like a cat who'd gotten the cream. What did I miss? He asked, knowing the tension. Your mother just made an announcement about our daughter's name, I said calmly. We'll discuss it later. The rest of the shower passed in a blur of forced smiles and whispered conversations. But I noticed Eleanor drinking more than usual, her perfectly manicured hands trembling slightly whenever someone mentioned the baby's name. That night, James was incandescent with rage. She did wait, he roared, pacing our bedroom. In front of everyone? Sophie, we agreed on Lucia, after your grandmother. I know. Then why did you agree? My mother's terrorized you for 5 years, and suddenly you're rolling over because of money. Am I? I asked, pulling out my laptop. Jamie, what do you know about your mother's background? What kind of question is that? She's Eleanor Whitfield. Born Eleanor Whitfield. The Whitfields have been in Massachusetts for over a century, yes. But what about before she married your father? He frowned. She was Eleanor Whitfield. The Whitfields of Boston. She met Dad at the yacht club. Did she ever tell you her parents' names? Of course. George and Margaret Whitfield. Funny, I said, turning the laptop toward him. Because according to this birth certificate from 1951, your mother was born Eleonora Kowalski in Newark, New Jersey. The color drained from James's face. That's impossible. Is it? Have you ever met her parents? Any aunts, uncles, cousins from her side? They died before I was born. In a car accident, the whole family. Very tragic. Convenient, too. I pulled up more documents. Marriage license from 1974. Eleonora Kowalski married Theodore Whitfield IV. But by 1975, she's going by Eleanor Whitfield. nee Whitfield, claiming to be a distant cousin who happened to have the same last name. This can't be real. Your father knew. I found letters in the attic when we were cleaning last year. He thought it was romantic, the working class girl who remade herself for love. What he didn't know was that she'd been married before. James sank onto the bed. What? Married at 17 to a Stanley Novak. Divorced at 19, had a baby. I have a sibling. A half-brother, Stephen Novak. He's a plumber in Jersey City. Nice guy, actually. We've been corresponding. You've been, Sophie, what the hell? Your mother has spent 5 years telling me I'm not good enough for the Whitfield name. That my immigrant grandparents make me unsuitable. That my ethnic background would dilute the family bloodline. All while hiding that she's Eleanor Kowalski from Newark, who abandoned her first kid to reinvent herself as Boston royalty. James stared at the documents spread across our bed. Birth certificates, marriage licenses, even a few faded photographs of a young woman who looked remarkably like Eleanor, but with bigger hair and cheaper clothes. How long have you known? 6 months. Since she made that comment at Christmas about how some people should stay in their own social circles. I decided to look into exactly what her social circle was. And you're just telling me now. I was going to tell you gently, privately, but then your mother decided to publicly blackmail us over a name, so you agreed to name our daughter after her. I agreed to name our daughter Eleanor, her full legal name, which, according to these documents, is Eleonora Marie Kowalski Novak Whitfield. James let out a sound that was half laugh, half groan. Mother will have a heart attack. She'll have a choice. Accept whatever name we actually choose for our daughter, or explain why she doesn't want us using her real name. The name connected to the Polish immigrant parents she's been hiding. The teenage marriage she pretends never happened. The son she abandoned. This is blackmail. No, this is consequences. She weaponized her will against us in public. I'm simply prepared to return fire. What about Steve, the half-brother? Lovely man. Owns his own plumbing business. 3 kids. He's actually excited to meet you if you want. He says he always wondered about his mother's other family. James was quiet for a long time. She told me her whole family died. They did, in a way. The moment Eleanor Kowalski decided to become Eleanor Whitfield, she killed them all. Erased them. Built a fiction so complete even her own son believed it. All those genealogy charts she has framed in the library. Forgeries. Good ones, but forgeries. The Whitfield family tree she displays shows her as a distant cousin who married in. Just close enough to already have the name, far enough that no one would question why they'd never met her before. The Daughters of the American Revolution membership. Based on falsified lineage, technically fraud. The Yacht Club, the committees, the boards. All built on a lie. A working-class Polish girl's fantasy of what American aristocracy looked like. James pulled me close. What do we do? We name our daughter Lucia Marie Whitfield Romano as planned. And if your mother objects, we explain that we're happy to use her real name instead. All of it. She'll cut us off. Maybe, or maybe she'll realize that her granddaughter's love is worth more than maintaining a 40-year fiction. You don't know my mother. I know she's terrified. That's why she drinks. Why she's so obsessed with bloodlines and legacy. She's been running from Eleanor Kowalski for 4 decades. 3 weeks later, our daughter was born. Perfect, healthy, and absolutely beautiful. We named her Lucia Marie. The confrontation came when we brought her home. Eleanor was waiting in our living room, having let herself in with the spare key. Explain this, she said, holding up the birth announcement. Lucia Marie, that's not what we agreed. Hello to you too, Mother, James said, settling me and the baby on the couch. Don't be glib with me, you promised, in front of everyone. You promised to name her Eleanor. Actually, I said, I promised to name her after you, and I'm happy to do that, Eleonora. Eleanor went completely still. What did you call me? Your name. Eleonora Marie Kowalski. Oh, sorry, Novak. That was after the first marriage, right? To Stanley? All the color drained from Eleanor's face. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? I pulled out my phone. Because I have some lovely photos here. You in your wedding dress. Very 1960s. And this one. Oh, this is sweet. You and baby Stephen. He has your eyes. Those aren't. You're mistaken. Am I? Should we call Steve and ask? He's very excited about being an uncle. By the way, wants to know if he can visit. Eleanor sank into a chair. How? Public records. Amazing what you can find when you know where to look. Birth certificates, marriage licenses, divorce decrees. Did you know the Newark courthouse digitized everything? Your whole history just a few clicks away. What do you want? Her voice was small, defeated. I want you to stop threatening us. Stop using your money as a weapon. Stop treating me like I'm beneath you because of my background. And if I don't, James spoke up, then we tell everyone. The yacht club, the DAR, the hospital board, all of it. You wouldn't? You're a Whitfield. I'm a Whitfield Romano, he corrected, and my daughter is too. We can either be a family that loves each other despite our real backgrounds, or we can be a family that destroys each other over fake ones. Your choice, Eleonora. She flinched at the name. My parents, they were immigrants, factory workers. Poor. I just wanted better. There's nothing wrong with that, I said gently. The wrong was in being ashamed of it, in hiding it, in judging others for the same background you came from. I was 18 when I met Theodore. He wouldn't have looked twice at Eleonora Kowalski. Maybe not, but he stayed with you after he found out, didn't he? He loved you for who you were, not who you pretended to be. Tears ran down Eleanor's perfectly made-up face. I haven't thought about being Eleonora in 40 years. Maybe it's time, James suggested. Steve would like to meet you. His kids would like to meet their grandmother. I can't. The scandal. Or, I offered, you could just be our daughter's grandmother. No scandal. No revelations. Just family. She looked at baby Lucia, sleeping peacefully through all the drama. She's beautiful. She is. And she'll grow up knowing exactly who she is. Italian and Polish. Working class and wealthy. All of it. Kowalski and Romano, Eleanor murmured, were practically peasants. It was the first real joke I'd ever heard her make. Can I? She gestured toward the baby. Of course. I placed Lucia in her arms. Eleanor held her carefully, tears still streaming. I'm sorry, she whispered, for all of it, the threats, the judgments, the cruelty. I was so terrified you'd expose what I really was, I became a monster. You became what you thought you had to be, I said. But you don't have to be that anymore. Eleonora, looked at me. The will? I'll change it. Fair distribution to all grandchildren, regardless of names. Thank you. And Steve? You really have been in contact. He's a good man. Raised by your sister after you left. He doesn't hate you. He just wants to understand. Maybe I could meet him. Privately at first. I can arrange that. She handed Lucia back reluctantly. Theodore would have loved her. He always wanted a big family. I was too scared to have more children. Afraid they'd look too polished, too much like the Kowalskis. James looks like you, I pointed out. Same eyes, same stubborn chin. The Kowalski chin, she admitted. My father's. He was a stubborn man. Worked himself to death trying to give us a better life. Tell me about him, James said, sitting beside his mother. Your real father, not the Whitfield cousin fiction. And she did. For the first time in 40 years, Eleanor Whitfield became Eleonora Kowalski again. She told us about her parents, her siblings, the tenement in Newark, the scholarship to secretarial school that changed her life. She told us about meeting Theodore at a coffee shop, lying about her name on impulse, then being trapped in that lie as they fell in love. By the time I told him the truth, we were engaged, she said. I was terrified he'd leave me. Instead, he helped me create a whole new identity, said it didn't matter where I came from, only where we were going. He sounds wonderful, I said. He was. But the lie ate at both of us. And after he died, I had no one who knew the truth. So I buried it deeper, became even more Eleanor Whitfield, even less Eleonora Kowalski. Baby Lucia stirred, making those tiny sounds newborns make. Eleanor smiled, a real smile, not the society grimace she usually wore. What if? She started, then stopped. What? James prompted. What if we gave her a polished middle name? Along with Marie, Lucia Marie Jadwiga Whitfield Romano. Jadwiga was my mother's name. I looked at James, who nodded. Lucia Marie Jadwiga. I like it. Really? Eleanora looked hopeful. You did that. Family honors family, I said. All of it, not just the parts that look good on a genealogy chart. She cried then. Real tears, not the manipulative waterworks she sometimes employed. James held his mother as she grieved for the family she denied, the identity she'd buried, the decades of fear and pretense. When she finally composed herself, she looked different. Softer, more real. I should go, she said. You need rest. But, may I visit? Tomorrow? Of course, James said. You're her grandmother. Her Babcia, Eleanor corrected, using the polished word. If that's okay. It's perfect, I assured her. At the door, she turned back. Sophia, the irony isn't lost on me. I spent 5 years tormenting you for being proud of your heritage while hiding my own. I'm sorry. Water under the bridge, Babcia. She smiled, a real, warm smile that transformed her face. Steve, could you really arrange a meeting? I'll call him tonight. Thank you, for all of it, the truth, the chance, the granddaughter. Thank you. After she left, James and I sat in comfortable silence, our daughter sleeping between us. That was not how I expected this to go, he admitted. Blackmail rarely ends with group hugs, I agreed. Was it blackmail, or was it just forcing her to face the truth? Maybe both. Maybe sometimes people need to be cornered before they can stop running. Lucia Marie Jedwiga, he said, testing the name. Our little Polish Italian WSP princess. With a grandmother who's learning it's never too late to stop hiding. Eleanora, did meet Steve. Privately at first, then with his family, then at larger gatherings. The Whitfield family tree in her library quietly disappeared, replaced with photos of actual family, including a lovingly restored picture of her parents, Jan and Maria Kowalski, on their wedding day. She never told the yacht club or the DAR about her real background. Some secrets, we all agreed, could stay buried, but she stopped weaponizing her fictional pedigree against others. Stopped judging, stopped threatening. And when Lucia grew old enough to ask about her name, we told her all of it. About her great-grandparents who came to America with nothing but hope. About her Babcia who was so scared of being different that she hid who she was. About how love and truth are stronger than fear and lies. So Babcia was Polish like Nana was Italian? She asked at age 5. Yes, Kochini, Eleanor said, using the Polish endearment naturally now. We're all from somewhere else originally. The only difference is how long ago and whether we remember. I'll remember, Lucia promised solemnly. All of it. Eleanor died when Lucia was 12. At the will reading, there were no surprises, no threats, no conditions. Just a fair distribution to all her grandchildren and a letter to each. Lucia's read, My darling Jedwiga, thank you for giving me the courage to be Eleonora again. Love, your Babcia. Mine was shorter but no less meaningful. Sophia, thank you for the blackmail. It saved my soul. All my love, Eleonora, nee Kowalski, finally proud of it. The funeral was small, family only. Steve gave a beautiful eulogy about the mother he'd lost and found again. James spoke about learning his mother's true history and loving her more for it. And Lucia, our beautiful Polish Italian-American daughter, sang a Polish lullaby Eleanor had taught her, the same one Maria Kowalski had once sung to little Eleonora in a Newark tenement. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. Afterward, at the reception, I overheard someone ask Lucia about her unusual name. I'm named after my grandmothers, she said proudly. Lucia for my Italian Nana, Marie for my French great-grandma, and Jadwiga for my Polish great-Babcia. I carry all of them with me. That's beautiful, the woman said. Your parents must have put a lot of thought into it. Lucia grinned. Oh, there's a story there. It involves blackmail, secret identities, and a baby shower threat. Want to hear it? She was definitely her grandmother's granddaughter, both of them. The one who hid and the one who finally stopped hiding. And that, we all agreed, was the best inheritance of all.